should say. Welcome to Encoder Products live demonstration coming to you from Virtual Pack Expo 2020. My name is Jared Stearns. I'll be your host for the next 10 minutes, along with Mr. Diltz, who will be answering any questions and answers you may have in your little chat box there on the window. Today we're going to discuss Encoder Products Programmable Encoders. So what are programmable encoders? Well, before we answer that, we should answer a question we've been answering all week this week at Pack Expo. What is an encoder? Well, an encoder is a rotary device that when you rotate, gives you position or velocity or distance, use it to measure. Many come in a form factor that has a shaft or a through bore, a hole through it, where you can put it on a shaft. When you rotate, an encoder creates pulses, specifically an incremental encoder, which is what we're really going to discuss today with our programmable encoders. They create pulses. Think about when you were a kid riding a bike, you put a playing card in the spoke of your bikes, and you rode around and annoyed the neighborhood. Well, every spoke that card hit kind of created a pulse, right? And that's all an incremental encoder does. You rotate the shaft, there's a bunch of lines on the disc. The light shining through that disc is interrupted by the lines, and we create electrical pulses coming out. So if I had a disc, let's say, in this encoder that had 1,000 lines on the disc, when I rotated the encoder exactly one revolution, I can expect 1,000 pulses, and I can count those. And if I were to rotate this and watch a screen and count to 2,000, I know I've gone 2 full turns. Or count to 500, I know I've gone half of a turn. That's all an incremental encoder really is, an accurate positioning device that creates pulses. So today we're discussing programmable encoders. What does that mean? Well, up until the recent invention of programmable encoders, when you ordered an encoder, those lines on the disc are printed on the disc. So if you buy an encoder with 1,000 lines, that's all it's ever going to be. And if you, the electronics on the disc are also whatever you buy them as. So if you order it as open collector or push-pull, line driver, all of our different output types, what you order is what you get forever. Well, a programmable encoder allows you to change that. So instead of being stuck with the resolution of the lines in the disc that you've ordered, our encoders actually allow you to reprogram the encoder to any resolution you want. So you're not stuck with that 1,000 lines. You can make it 10,000 lines or 100 lines or 10 lines or 65,000 lines if you wanted to. We also have special circuitry built in these encoders that allow you to change the output type. So you'll be able to go into a programming tool and say, you know what, we ordered this as line driver, but now we're going to hook it up to something different. And that device, maybe it's a camera system that only works with open collector. Now what do? Well, in the past, you were stuck ordering another encoder and waiting for it to be delivered and having your project be delayed. Now you can order that encoder as a programmable, and then if you have a design change in the field, you just plug it in. Oh, we need this to be open collector instead of line driver, and I need it to be 1024 pulse instead of 2048. Unplug it, plug it back in, you're good to go. Easy peasy. So why would you want it? Well, if you're in the research and development world, if you're working for an OEM machine builder, maybe you're designing the next stretch wrap machine or the next bottling line, you're not quite sure what you need for an encoder yet. So often we see a lot of design engineers buy our encoders without a project, and they keep it on their shelf. It's in their box of tools, next to that extra PLC you keep handy in your bag, next to your wrenches and your screwdrivers. They keep it as a tool so that when they have a need for an encoder, especially a through bore where you can get bore sleeves for different size shafts and different mount types that come with it, they've got a very flexible device that, hey, we're prototyping this, let's put it in. And let's set it to this resolution and this output type and see how we like it, see how it works. You know what? That conveyor speed is too fast. We want to lower that resolution a little bit. Oh, program it, change it, all done. No more back and forth, continuing to buy different iterations of encoders as you advance your prototype. Another advantage is maybe you're a large OEM or even a large end user, and you've got a lot of encoders on your floor, or maybe you have a lot of different machine types, and they all use similar encoders, but they use different resolutions. I've seen this a lot in the spooling industry, where if you're spooling different types of wire or cable, based on the diameter of the cable, you have more or less turns on the spool. And very often, these machines use the same encoders, but they have different resolutions based on the cable type. Well, now in your factory, whether it's at your OEM and you're stocking parts for your machines, or it's in your crib because you're an end user, you can stock one programmable encoder that will fit all those different builds. So if you're tired of stocking 30, 50, 100 different encoder types, and it's always the one you're out of that your customer needs, now you can standardize on one that has all the flexibility electronically to cover all your different incremental needs. Another opportunity for using programmable encoders, one that we did not plan on in the beginning, was with the packaging industry, specifically with line scan cameras, camera systems of any type really, and also marking system, laser and inkjet marking. Reason being, maybe you're running a line scan camera and you're taking an image of an object. I just did a project recently looking at chain links. And that line scan camera needs specific points to trigger so that it can collect the correct spacing. So when you stitch all those lines together to create an image, the image is in proportion to what you took a picture of. Well, that often requires very unique resolutions of an encoder. Maybe you don't need 1,000 or 1024. Maybe you need 1,323 pulses per inch would be your best resolution. And very often in the past, you couldn't get that. Nobody printed that disc. You know, you had to select what was common. And you ended up doing a lot of arithmetic on the back end, dividing and truncating and dealing with remainders and having every 10th line be wrong. Well, now you can take a programmable encoder and you can program it on the fly, unplug it, put our tool in, change the resolution, plug it back in, keep your machine running, and you can fine tune that resolution to match your setup so that if you're doing an image with a line scan camera, that image will always be in proportion. If you're triggering to laser mark bottles, perhaps on a bottling line, you're always going to be start every line of that marking, your pixel width will be correct. So the packaging industry, vision and printing has been tremendous with our programmable encoders, which is awesome because we didn't plan on that. So extra benefit. As you can see, in printing and packaging, one of the #1 ways to use a programmable encoder is with a wheel on it. So we developed a new product called our PLMS for short, our Programmable Linear Measurement Solution. That's a mouthful. I had to look down and read the whole thing, and I've said it a million times. So I call it the PLMS for short. And what it is we sell as a kit, a bracket, a programmable encoder, and a wheel for you to choose to fit your application. So now that you have the whole solution already set up, if you have a conveyor belt running, just need a piece of 5/8 shaft, which we sell that as well. Get a piece of 5/8 shaft and you can get this kit pivoting on this shaft to run on any type of belt you have to start using to trigger your vision or your marking systems. Some advantages of this is you're not stuck with limited options like you might be with other products that aren't set up as kit. You can use any of our programmable encoders. Now, what I've been discussing is our programmable incremental encoder, but all of our absolute encoders, when you select the can open protocol or any of our Ethernet or network type protocols, you can also put an absolute encoder on this system. So if you have a need for absolute positioning with a wheeled encoder, we offer that with the PLMS as well. So how do you set this thing up? Well, we've all gotten software that we're told, or products with software that we're told, oh, it's easy. And then you get the product and you get this manual that's this thick and you got to read through it. Go to section 42-5 tag 3 and that'll tell you how to start it, right? Not with Encoder products. The software is very easy. It's visually based. It's free. It's on our website. You just have to buy a simple programming dongle, a USB dongle to plug into your laptop, any laptop. No licensing required or license keys or anything like that. And I'm going to demonstrate that software for you right now so you can see how easy it is. So you should be able to see our screen here now. And on the screen is our one-page simple setup for the programming software. So we've plugged in our 25SP encoder here. That's our shafted programmable encoder. And we've read its current status. And in its current status, it's set for 10,000 pulses per revolution, push-pull output, and B leads A. That's your counting direction, your forward direction. What direction counts up and what direction counts down? Well, you know what? I want it to count the other direction. So I'm going to change this to A leads B versus B leads A. And we even have a nice picture below so that you know what the signals will look like coming out of our encoder. We also have a selection where you can choose the output type. This was set up as push-pull because I was sending it to a digital readout. Maybe I decided, you know what, I'm going to send this to an HMI, and that HMI requires complementary signals. It wants line driver. So I simply just choose line driver, and I really want this encoder to have 35,000 pulses per revolution. So I'm going to change this to 35,000. I'm going to hit program, and I'm done. I unplug the encoder. I go on with my life. If I'm at an OEM and you got to do 5 of these in a batch, you would just hit program another, attach another encoder, and click OK, and you're all done. No manual required. So this is the encoder that I just programmed. I kept over the laptop before. This is our Model 25SP. It's a 2.5-inch shafted encoder, comes in a variety of flange types and a variety of shaft diameters. And this is our Model 58T. It's a 58 millimeter through bore or hollow bore encoder that comes with a variety of bore sizes and a variety of 1-point and 3-point mounts. Very common to put on the back of induction motors if you have a motor with a gearbox. And this is very common to not only put on the back of a motor with a coupling, what a lot of people call a flower pot adapter, but this is also the encoder you see right here on the mount with the wheel. So you'd order the 25SP with the bracket and the wheel to get that PLMS solution. So this product and more available from Encoder Products. We're a nimble company. We're based out of Idaho. I love to draw my air map of Idaho. Looks something like this. And Encoder Products is based way up here. We're in the middle of nowhere. Why do you care? Other than it's pretty cool. Because for 51 years now, we've been building encoders in northern Idaho. And we've had very little support on the outside. Our supply chain is internal. We're vertically integrated. There wasn't a machine shop down the street to make all of our parts for us. That has become a boon to Encoder Products, especially with the recent events and climate that we live in now. We machine our own shafts. We populate our own motherboards. We machine our own hubs. We print our own disks. We do it in-house. Our incremental encoders, including our programmable, ship standard in 4 to 6 days. And that's not from inventory. We don't inventory them. We build to order every single PO that comes in. And we build to order in 4 to 6 days. So of the billions now, our part numbers are so configurable. Of the billions of ways that you can combine our part numbers, our incremental encoders ship in 4 to 6 days. We also offer same day and next day expediting. If you do have a down machine, or maybe you're working on that R&D project and it's a little behind, you want to make up some time, we can get you that encoder shipped out that day or the next 2 days, next single day or 2 day. All those options are available to you. We have a wonderful network of world-class distributors. I am one of 4 people on the outside in the United States. Not a lot of us to go around. If you're in the Northeast, you're stuck with me. So we have world-class distributors in the United States and around the world. No matter where you're located, there's going to be somebody close by who's trained on our products and will know how to work with you. Whether you're an OEM or an end user, they will work with you to select the right encoder, and they will work with you even if you need custom features that you don't see in our standard product line. We love coming up with custom solutions for our OEMs. So please keep us in mind. We're going to shoot you an email about programmable encoders after this video is done. Thank you very much for watching. Enjoy the rest of your PAC Expo Friday.